Good morning, and thank you for being here to be able to talk about something today, something that many of us don't know a whole lot about. I want to really thank Dr. Jacobs for being here today and his leadership on this issue. When Dr. Jacobs first reached out to me about the disease, that is ME, I was surprised that I had never heard of the disease. I suspect many, if not most Americans, are unaware of ME, as I was. I was even more shocked to learn that this disease is costing far too many families their loved ones. The National Academy of Medicine has stated that there is little research funding currently being done on this disease. There is no diagnostic test, no FDA-approved treatments. The Centers for Disease Control estimates that 84% of those with ME are either misdiagnosed or not diagnosed at all. And most patients have no access to doctors with the expertise in this disease. This disease needs public awareness. I, as well as the members of the South Carolina General Assembly, urge state agencies, healthcare providers, research facilities, our medical schools, and federal agencies to work toward increasing education and research funding for this deadly disease. Dr. Jacobs' story touched me as I read it in the Daniel Island News. I was living on Daniel Island and I received the newspaper article, and it touched me. It made me realize that I can stand up and say something about it, and I have. This resolution puts the state of South Carolina on record of saying we need to bring attention to this disease. We need to be able to help find ways of diagnosing and being able to better treat this disease. So I'm proud to be here with Dr. Jacobs and others, and I'd like to turn this over to him now. Thank you.
Thank you so much. Nancy, you want to say something? Yeah, sure. Before I say anything, I'd like Representative Mace to say it.
Good morning, y'all. This morning, today, we have a group of folks who are very passionate about myalgic encephalomyelitis, which is also known as chronic fatigue. And May 12th, we've created a House resolution that would recognize chronic fatigue in the state of South Carolina. It's a very silent chronic disease that not many people are aware of, but in the state of South Carolina, up to 38,000 people suffer from the disease, and it's a disease that's not very well researched. And so the purpose of being here today is to provide information to individuals who either might be suffering from chronic fatigue or to allow the public to become more aware about this issue. Because in the United States, up to 2.5 million people suffer from the disease. Some of the symptoms can be cardiac symptoms, it could be headache, it could be tiredness and fatigue, hypometabolism, immune dysfunction, increased morbidity at a younger age than average people. And because it's an issue or disease that is not well researched, we really need to find time and find researchers who are willing to address this disease. And so we're here today to recognize the folks that suffer from chronic disease, from chronic fatigue, but also bring awareness to this issue. And I want to thank Dr. Bob Jacobs and his guests for being here. We are going to present a resolution on the floor of the House this morning after this event. Thank you.
My goodness. Thank you all for being here. I want to thank patients for being here, caregivers of patients for being here, and I just want to extend my thoughts to my wife, who's been a patient with ME for over 9 years, who simply is not able to attend events such as this. My name is Robert Jacobs, and I am a resident of Daniel Island. I'm a retired physician, and I'm a caregiver for my wife who's had this illness for over 9 years. Your recognition of ME is extremely important to the many thousands of South Carolinians who have this disease. ME was previously known as chronic fatigue syndrome, but it's That name raised the stigma to patients with this illness because all of us experience fatigue. But all of us don't experience the many immunologic, energy metabolism, neurologic, microbiologic abnormalities that patients with ME have to live with each and every day. People with ME have a lower quality of life and more functional impairment than those with other better-known disabling illnesses, such as multiple sclerosis, heart disease, and end-stage renal disease. Despite its prevalence and its severity, ME has long lived in the shadows. It's been stigmatized as a psychogenic illness, with those afflicted viewed as lazy or malingering rather than having a serious medical illness. That is why ME sufferers often characterize themselves as the millions missing, and you should look for the hashtag millions missing as a campaign to raise awareness about this disease. All of this changed in 2015 when the National Academy of Medicine declared that, quote, ME is a serious, chronic, complex, systemic disease that can profoundly affect the lives of patients. And as Dr. Francis Collins, currently the director of our National Institutes of Health in Bethesda, Maryland, stated, quote, of the many mysterious illnesses that science has yet to unravel, ME has proven to be one of the most challenging. Despite the historical tourism and quality of life allure of our beautiful state, there's a paucity of medical care available to patients with ME. Minimal medical awareness and essentially no research. At the national level, ME has been in the bottom 5% of NIH funding for decades, typically less than $6 million a year. This concurrent resolution for ME awareness is a critical step to raise awareness about this hidden disease, encourage healthcare providers to allow their patients to come out of the shadows, and secure healthcare quality for patients with ME. Thank you very much.